Hey guys, we're here to do a little bit of the Q&A portion of the video. Later on, we're going to be basically going through step by step on how to do the RRB Unemployment. For those of you that haven't done it, it's pretty crucial to get on this right away. It takes about 15 days to get your confirmation letter so they can look into it and see if you have in fact been approved for it. But we put the feelers out there for some questions that you guys had. First off, I'm going to ask Billy about, we're going to talk about insurance. Will one vacation day a month continue your insurance, Billy?
So to field that, guys, we do have agreements in the 97 that stipulate how much on-property time actually qualifies you for your health and welfare. Justin and I are diligently looking into that. I don't want to give any false sense of security. It looks like that could be the case. I've talked to other departments like TRAC that they've done it that way. So I don't want to give a definitive yes, but as soon as I do have some concrete language, I will get back to you guys. But it does look, there is agreements that are outlined that could be the case, that you could use a single vacation day and it would count as a on-property start. Therefore, so if right now, I believe it's end of August, everyone has benefits. So if we go past August, unfortunately, for some reason, we could possibly use a single vacation day to have still health benefits.
Okay. Now, talking about vacation, for some of the guys out there that don't know, if you've already scheduled vacation, a lot of guys have been saying, do I call in? Do I get it back? Do I use it? How's all that working? So,
right now it's really personal preference. I mean, so you are, right now you could essentially use vacation whenever if you are currently furloughed. It's all on what your financial situation is. So if you would like to use it in lieu of railroad unemployment pay, you have every right to call and schedule a vacation, and you will get a check from the harbor for those vacation days. Personally, if you don't have to use it, I wouldn't. I would just wait and hopefully this is over in a couple months and then go from there. But if you absolutely need to use it, it is your right. And you can call and schedule a vacation day, and you will get a check from the harbor. Now, keep in mind, I mean, is it worth doing one day? Probably not. You know, if you do a single day, you're essentially going to get taxed out the ass from the harbor, and you're pretty much going to be null. It's going to be a moot point. But you know, a week could be beneficial, especially if if you're in a financial situation where you don't have it in the piggy to wait out these 15 days, or unfortunately some of our lower seniority brothers that have to deal with Indiana unemployment, it might be beneficial to use that week right now to offset the delay in the process. But as far as it's your vacation, that's collectively bargained upon, and it's yours to use at your disposal.
now do keep in mind, Billy, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you do take your vacation back, and once this, hopefully, in the near future, when we all are back at work and are ready to get going on our vacations again, if you've taken your vacation back and then all of a sudden September rolls around and you want to use that week, it may not be there. So you do run that risk if you do take your vacation back.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
It's still seniority, and it all deals with vacancy. So if that week is open, then yes, you can use it. But yes, you're running that risk of not having an optimal week to
and
use
there is a way on the horse screen that you can go in there and check and see who's
Correct.
got what vacations.
Yep, you can go through and
all that.
analyze
So
it.
yeah, those of you that do want to know that, reach out to me. I can show you how to look at it on the horse screen. Also, dealing with vacations, the Railroad Retirement Board credits for working a month. It's kind of important, at least we think so, because you don't want to be 60 getting ready to retire and realize, oh, you got 4 months to make up for the coronavirus back in 2020.
Right.
So,
I mean, that is how I interpret it, that using a vacation day would constitute one day on the property, therefore earning you a pension credit. So I'm about 90% sure on that. I still want to look into it to give you a complete 100% answer, but that's what Justin and I discussed, and that, yeah, using one vacation day is essentially the same as working. That's why even this month, even though maybe few of us before we got furloughed didn't actually work, being available constitutes the same thing. You are available and ready to work to provide service for the carrier. Therefore, you earned yourself a pension credit.
So for some of these lower seniority guys out there that may not know exactly what we're talking about, a pension credit, basically when you were hired out, you were all told you can retire if you've got 30 years of experience or railroad work on the harbor, or 60 years old. Well, there's actually some fine numbers that the Railroad Retirement Board works out, and the way they do it is 30 years of service, yes. However, you have to have one start. That means you have to have worked once a month for 30 years consecutively, and that gives you basically like 1 point because you worked that month. So that's kind of what we're talking about when we say use a vacation day, because what we don't want to happen is you to be 60 years old, think you have your 30 years in, and have to make up
4 months.
Yeah, you got to make up 4 of those credits for this time that you were furloughed. Or, you know, if you were ever to be injured, be out injury, tear your shoulder, or something like that, throw your back out, need surgery, those months that you take out that you're not actually working at the harbor, from like April 1st to the end of the month, that constitutes a month. So every month that you don't actually go to work, you don't accumulate any credits for your railroad retirement and have to be made up on the back end. Once you've got your 30 years or your 60, you'll have to make up all those months that you didn't get a start in. So that's what we're talking about when we say to make sure to use 1 day a month vacation. That'll count as a start and get you that credit towards your railroad retirement.
I like what you're doing there with the hands. Very Bob Dole-ish.
I've been practicing. So I think that's pretty much all. The other thing, when we all got our letter, they said to turn your stuff in. Billy had some ideas on turning all your stuff.
I mean, turn all your stuff in. John Carnahan brought up a good point to Adam. Make sure you get a receipt from, I believe it's Officer Ramirez.
Yeah, I think
That's who they said the contact was. Books. So clean out anything in those books that is actually yours. Just literally leave, timetable, safety, G-Core, and Cora. Leave all that stuff, but all of your actual notes, make sure you clean out all that. Your radio, your charger, your battery, lantern, and keys.
Yep. Make sure to get all that turned in.
I mean, you don't have to rush at it, but at some point, a month might go by, and then they're going to start hounding you and getting shitty. So just comply, and just keep in mind when you do come back that that's something you have to bring up to them. Be like, yeah, I'm ready to perform service, but I don't have any of my necessary items: my radio, my lantern, my books, my keys.
Yeah.
So
and they might be scrambling and scratching their head, going, "Oh shoot, what did we do?"
So just comply. I mean, that's what the letter says. So contact Mr. Ramirez at your discretion. Like I said, don't rush. Whatever fits your narrative right now. I mean, you're the one for a load, so what works for you.
Right. Also, one last thing on vacations that we don't believe they will do, but they may do if it comes down to it. If they want to start playing dirty, they may. Again, they haven't yet, but they may actually just cash out all your vacation, and you may see one big check for all your vacation days in the mail. If that is the case,
then we shall grieve it from there, because vacation was not bestowed upon us from the carrier. It was collectively bargained upon, so therefore it is ours. The only thing they get to stipulate is vacancies, and that's seniority based. So other than that, I have talked to people in the past. I believe in 2008 they did in fact do that. They pretty much cashed everyone out. Now what they did is you didn't lose your week, you lost the compensation for the week. So you could still schedule the vacation, but they already paid you for it. So they would give you the time off, but there was no compensation. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. That is a possibility. And it's not like we're giving them the idea. They probably already have it in their heads. So just keep that in mind.
And if it does happen, we'll
grieve it. We'll grieve it. Also, just a little side note, I'm just coming to the top of my head. Keep your ear to the ground. I've talked to other guys. I believe Cornice explained to Adam, if you're having trouble logging in the NS screen, you change the district to BR and you can look. So what I need, guys, from time to time to look on the screen, we need to keep an eye out if they are in fact filling West End, or Gibson jobs with Blue Island guys.
Oh yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, that's a restriction of seniority, and I shall grieve it accordingly.
That's very good. Yeah, so those of you that don't know, that weren't on the text thread about what Cornice said, Once you, for those of you that are furloughed, if you go to log into the horse screen, once you put all your IDs and everything, it'll basically be an all black screen. You'll have some things up at the top and then your normal functions the way it normally looks. Well, up in the top when it says district, for those of you that have been furloughed, it'll just be 2 X's. You're going to need to change those to BR. And then once you do that, hit enter, and it should log you back in and work accordingly. So that way you can check guarantees, make sure all those have been paid. As far as I know, no one's had any issues, at least this pay half getting paid. There were some hiccups last pay half, but this pay half went right through.
I mean, even the guys that came back to the board, I talked to Tom Silliger. I think Woolham got screwed out of a couple, but it seems like they just do a lottery and randomly pick who they're not going to pay. Silliger, Chappie, they paid all his. But also just keep in mind, look at that check for me. You know, I'm going to try to keep up on it and be as diligent as possible. But if you see a Blue Island guy manning a West End job, please take a screenshot of it and let me know.
And that's not just West End. That'll be a helper at the Avenue.
So any Gibson jobs, yeah.
Right.
I mean, a helper. I mean, that's showing that they laid off too many.
Right. So I think that wraps it up for our questions. Going forward, we're going to be walking you through how to fill out the railroad retirement online. So stay tuned. Okay, well, we were going to do an entire video on how to basically do it all electronically. Unfortunately, my cursed friend over here has a Junior at the end of his name. We were having a bunch of issues scanning it in as far as his license goes to the system. It was getting all messed up. Needless to say, like an hour of phone calls later, we're just going to do it on paper. Some of you may have been able to do it electronically, which is great. It really, unfortunately, it really is kind of easy to do that way. It's kind of, you know, very self-explanatory. However, Billy did have an issue, so what we're going to have to do is we'll show you how to do it on paper, printing it out.
Which I have for everyone. Didn't mean to cut you.
No, that's fine. He's got it.
Yeah, I can send.
Just talk over each other.
Yeah, I have a paper copy which will kind of go through, and I can send it to all of you.
He'll go over some questions too, as far as I know some guys have been having issues with a couple questions on here. Some of them are a little tougher than others. So we're going to go ahead and turn the camera around and show you what that application actually looks like.
You can see it's pretty self-explanatory, it looks like, unless you're me. But no, fill out your name, same information, employment information, you know, last railroad you worked for, IHB, clerk, trainman, your trainman, location of last city, state, Hammond. Why are you not working? Laid off, furloughed. You know, so they're pretty self-explanatory. We'll kind of breeze through these. Date resigned or quit.
Date last worked would have been.
Yeah, so no, go to items. Wait, have you quit or resigned? So no, then it says go to item 7F.
So
no,
again, you don't have
go to 7G. So it pretty much follows you. So
yeah, you don't have to answer every question on here, just so you know. Especially if you do answer a question. It might have you just kind of move past. So just follow the letters on the side. I know question 9, a lot of people had issues with on what they should put. It is, are you covered by job? What does that say, Billy? It's a little far away. Oh.
Job protection plan guaranteeing you a certain amount of worker pay. That is no.
So that is no. All right. And yeah, so you're going to print this out and fill it out, unfortunately, in pen. Pencil, crayon, whatever you got. And then there is an address that you're going to have to mail it to.
I have it right here.
That Billy has.
Unfortunately, it's crudely written.
It is crudely written.
Better than my handwriting, but I'll read it for you guys if you want to write it down, if you can't really make this out. But it is 63 West Jefferson Street, Suite 102, Joliet, Illinois, 60432. And there's
63 West Jefferson Street, Suite 102, Joliet, Illinois, 60432. So that's where you're going to mail that application to. Make sure you put a stamp on there. I know I don't mail stuff very often, so you might have to look up how to do it properly, but If you do run into issues doing it online, and you do have to print it out, unfortunately, like Billy has to, that's the process for doing that. And I do believe if you do it paper this way, you don't need a copy of your license or anything like that.
No, it doesn't
so,
look like it.
So you shouldn't run into any of the issues that he was having if you go that way. But if you do it online, you'll need to take pictures or scan in, copy your license, and hopefully you don't have any hiccups. But if you do, there's always this option.
If you do have issues, we went to help, right?
Yeah, it was.
And there's
under-
a whole prompt. You explain what issue you're kind of running into, and they actually did already email back. They've emailed me back saying they'll personally talk to me in 1 to 2 business days. So it was quick. I literally just got done with the contact help prompt of it, and they said thank you for contacting me, and they'll be in touch within 2 business days. So still, you want to get the situation rectified, because we did talk to the lady on the phone, and if you send it in this way, you still want to do it electronically, because you'll be submitting all your claims with that password. If not, if you can't get that figured out, you'll have to be doing all these paper claims, and it's just going to be even more of a delay.
So at least go on, and if you do get to the part where it has you verify your identity, you want to stop there. At least your account's been created, and then you can print out the questionnaire and all these forms and mail that in, and at least you've got your account created. But you won't be able to do the forms online unless you've verified your identity with your ID and all that junk. So at least you'll have your account created, and like you said, once the RRB gets your forms and you're good to go, they'll let you know whether you qualify or you don't qualify. And if you do qualify, like you said, once they've got this questionnaire filled out, you'll be able to submit those claims online on the website, no problems. So, anything else?
That's pretty much it.
All right, we thank you guys for watching. Hopefully it wasn't too long of a video. Sorry we couldn't walk you through how to actually set it up, but we had a couple hiccups on our end.
That's the government, boys. It's bureaucratic bullshit.
It's the way she goes, man.
Yeah, I wish we could show you a successful instruction,
Completion.
but it just shows you, none of us are.
Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, no one's immune from it either. I'm having my own frustrations also, boys. So,
Yep.
thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, hopefully we'll plan on doing a couple more of these videos. If anybody else has any issues, or kind of walking you through this together, man. So, all right.
I blame mostly Adam.
That's probably my fault. All right, thanks, guys.